So you might have seen, if you follow me on Twitter, I am on Twitter. Sorry, the website formerly known as Twitter. I'm on my own platform now. I've called it X. I've named it after myself. And I don't tweet on there anymore. I post on there, apparently. Anyway. So I tweeted out an image of a new feature in the YouTube studio, and I tweeted it with a sad smiley face. I didn't feel like talking. That thing got rolled out to me in a moment where I was like kind of exhausted with all the YouTube stuff. And today I'm in a good place. I want to stay here. I feel like I know what my plan is going forward on YouTube, and like the numbers stuff just doesn't bother me at the moment, which is cool. But anyway, this tweet was this new feature where you're now able to upload free thumbnails to a video, and YouTube will figure out which one performs the best and then choose it for you. When I first got that in the studio, it just hit me wrong. I was like, oh boy, here it is again, the gamification of being a YouTuber. And then I started to read some of my comments and saw some positivity about the feature. And it just so happened that that same day I was uploading the episode of Hermitcraft with Tango as my lackey, the decked out episode, right? That was an amazing episode. And then it hit me because I have been experimenting with removing the classic Hermitcraft numbering and title off of my thumbnails. The reason that I've been doing this is because it's kind of old school and it's not the way things are done anymore. I'm not massively attached to it having to be that way. I do like it though. It's very nice to know that you've done like 1,100 odd videos with the same style, but I think at some point it has to change. So I started making the thumbnails for myself in both no title and number and with. And I actually have gone back and since changed them. So after they've been on the channel for a while and they stop pulling in traffic, I go and change them to the traditional format. But then all of a sudden it clicked. I realized when I upload that video, I can actually give YouTube both thumbnails and it will tell me which one will perform better. So I'll hand it over to you. Which one do you think performs better? A Hermitcraft thumbnail with the title and number on the thumbnail, or with it removed? So a few people saying with, removed. It's looking relatively split. And I don't know if people are answering based on what they think is going to perform better or not, or their personal preference. I maybe didn't make that clear. But it's relatively split. Quite a few more withs at the moment, I think. What YouTube says, it was 55% without, 45% with. And then that settled it for me. And I realized that I looked at it the wrong way. But it's still a part of the same problem. So in the past, I did not used to get anxious. Okay, sometimes it's anxiety. Sometimes it's just more like being in decision making. I guess it depends on my mood. Like if I'm in not the best of moods, it'll be more like you get a bit anxious and irritated. You're not quite sure what you're trying to do. You want it to perform well because you know thumbnails are important. Then when you're in a good place and it's more like you've got ideas roaming and it's like, how do I project them? Then it's not the worst thing ever to strategize on what your thumbnail is going to be. But I realized that, one, this is not how it used to be. You used to really never think about thumbnails much at all. That's what I miss. When you didn't have to think about this stuff so hard, but the area is hyper competitive. But in this hyper competitive environment, in a ways it does alleviate some of that, because I realized when I am struggling to nail down the idea for a thumbnail, or I'm not sure what looks right, if I've got like one idea and I'm like, oh, it looks a bit crowded, or I've got like another idea and I'm thinking, shall I put like a speech bubble on here or some highlighted text? If you've seen my thumbnails, you know I've got a variety of different styles that I've been messing around with. Well, I can now just do both and let YouTube decide which one works better. That can be freeing. And I think I have to limit myself to not now start to think I need 3 angles, but more like I get my general thumbnail idea, and as I'm putting it together, then it's like 1, 2, or 3 basically. So as an example, let's say there's a background image in a thumbnail. It's quite generic, it's not important. I could try 3 different images with different colors, etc. and then let you, the audience, decide which one is most clickable. Some of you are saying Etho has the best thumbnails. I love the way Etho just does the straight up screenshot. I think for a long time he didn't even bother with that. But I think saying his is the best doesn't highlight the strength of what he does. I think Etho is like such a strong, I I don't know quite what the words to use here are. His like baseline personality is just so strong with the way he's really great at games. He kind of knows how to really hone in on his own abilities and share them with you. His whole creativity is just on its own level. That reputation alone kind of makes him his own force in a way. I think everyone's got that. I think everyone's got a level of their own force, and then things like thumbnails and titles and playing the YouTube game can just elevate that impact. If Etho played the thumbnail game and did a bunch of other stuff, I think that with the way YouTube works, it would just expose him to more people. So with Etho, I think the reason that his channel is massive, people keep coming back over and over again, is because he's very consistent at being himself. The fact that he doesn't really play the YouTube game, I think shows like how strong of a force he is to begin with, right? Like let's say you go ahead and you put like a number value against your different YouTubers. Etho's like a 90 and other people you watch are like a 70. And that difference goes that far. If you're like me playing the thumbnail game, and then you're me playing it the Etho way, not bothering with thumbnails, Xisuma A and Xisuma B, I think the one with the thumbnails performs better. Etho A and Etho B, with Etho A being, let's say, his just traditional way of doing things, and Etho B being him playing the YouTube game, doing the thumbnails, I think Etho B would perform better, right? If Etho played the YouTube game, it wouldn't be Etho anymore, in a way, says Sokeys. Of course, it wouldn't be quite the same, but for the people he could draw in, that bigger audience, you remember you're boiling this all down to numbers. It will just be a case of pulling in more numbers. It will just work that way. I don't think YouTube rewards you for not playing the YouTube game. I just think it's a credit to like how good he is at being himself in this environment, that it pulls that many people along and that many people will stick around, that he doesn't have to convince new people with a fancy thumbnail or whatever, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at. You take all these different YouTube channels. Maybe it's all of the hermits, right? You line us up one by one. We're all playing it, the no thumbnails game. What happens over 5 years? You get all these metrics come back to you. Average views, whatever, comments. Then you run the second experiment. Everyone plays the YouTube game, does the fancy thumbnails. I honestly think you would just bring in more people playing the YouTube game, regardless of who you are. The only way I think it would hurt you negatively is if you lost sight of what you're good at or what you do in the process. If playing the YouTube game is a detriment to like who you are and what you're trying to do, that's the way it fails. So if Etho lost sight of who he was because he started playing the thumbnail game and then the content changed, then yeah, it could go down south. But I'm just saying, just straight up, if you can be you, do your thing and play the YouTube game, I'm pretty sure you're going to always perform better. As an engineer, I love analysing data and optimization, but frankly, it can suck a little fun out of things, says Johnny Digger. Yep, it can. That's where it's gone for me a little bit lately. I think it might also be a bit of a tough spot with Minecraft being in a bit of a drought. Hermitcraft 9 has, I think, kind of like, for me, probably run its course. I don't really see me doing too much more this season other than playing Decked Out, but I will always be keen on an idea if one comes to me. So I might just be in a tough spot, and maybe it just, when you're in one of those, the YouTube game kind of makes it worse, because now it's throwing all these negative numbers at you and stuff. And that's why I've been trying to recoil and find my way back to how I used to do things in the past a bit more, and the path is in front of me. It'll all happen over the next couple of months, and all of my meandering about secret projects or stuff in the works, you'll see it on the channel by the time October is over, and it's going to be stuff that I'm going to be really invested and enjoyed in, and just go back to doing videos the way I want to do it. So did you enjoy the waffle? Want to hear more stories and thoughts? Check out the playlist link below if you want more videos like these, and of course subscribe to the channel to catch future ones, and go to linktree.xisuma.co if you'd like to find links to all of the other activities that I do, including playing guitar, making music, Minecraft videos and much more. Go check out that link.